gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Ground to get real life topics from a biblical perspective. My name is Brian Boyd. Today's topic is how to have faith. So everyone, as always, I pray that you've been safe, been well, and been productive throughout this week. And as you can see by the title, today we're going to be talking about faith. And to be completely honest with y'all, the Lord led me to talk about this topic. I had an entirely different topic, and I was actually in the middle of recording when he placed it in my spirit to talk about this. So as me stepping out on faith myself, here we are. And I pray that whoever this message is for, because I'm sure this is for someone that you get out whatever it is that God wants you to. So with that being said, I'm not going to take any longer message. We're just going to jump into it. All right. And the first thing that comes up, first point is, what is faith? And faith, thankfully, is defined in the Bible, Hebrews 11:1, and it reads that faith is the substance of things hoped for, and it is the evidence of things not seen. And that simply means that faith is believing in something that you can't realistically see happening. It's something that in most cases defies all human logic, and it simply just doesn't make sense. Faith is putting your trust into your instincts or what you feel or what you hear God is telling you. And to be completely honest with you, that's not always the easiest thing to do. I can't tell you how many things in my life that God has told me to do, and it just quite frankly doesn't make any logical sense. But whenever I would actually do the things that he told me to do, they would always work out. And then on the opposite end, I got so many stories. I done told y'all some of them on here. When I didn't do those things that God told me to do, bad things happen. So, that brings you to the point, really, faith is not only just hearing something that God tells you to do, but you actually have to do those things. And that goes into point number 2, that faith is in action. And the back in verse 4, this is going to be 2 James 2:26. And it reads that, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. And this basically means that you can say that you believe in God all day. You may speak in tongues. You may do all these other things. But if you don't put your actions to line up with your words, then do you really have faith? That's really the question. If you know that you're supposed to have a business, for instance, and you feel it in your spirit that this is the route that you're supposed to go down, are you doing everything that you could possibly do to help that business grow? If God has told you to wait on something to happen, are you actually waiting on him to work it out for you? Or are you trying to take matters into your own hands and push that change to happen? If you're supposed to move, or you're supposed to let something go, or you're supposed to walk away from a situation in life, are you actually doing that, or are you staying where you're not supposed to be at? This is the essence of faith, of hearing something and going with it without question. And as I mentioned before, depending on what it is, depending on what God has led you to say or do, it may not be the easiest thing. Doing this message was easy because all I had to do was switch over and talk about this. Even though I had spent time working on something else, I have faith. I believe in what God wanted me to do. And here I am talking to you about this. But this is, like I said, it's a small issue. God, you may be one of them people, God may place it on your spirit, or you may have the thing to go and move it to an entirely different place, a whole nother city. You may have to move out the country. Are you willing to go with that thing that you believe? Are you willing to be like Abraham was and then go to an entirely different place just off of the word of what you believe God is telling you to do? Or, like I said, are you willing to quit your job and go and start a business? Now, in my world, I'm a very calculated person. So that's probably the last thing I would ever do. But, if that's something that God is leading me to do, then in that case, I have to make that decision. But, that's faith in a nutshell. Faith in itself is truly an action, and it's believing in something that you cannot physically see. And that goes into every area of your life. All of the goals and dreams and stuff that we started with this year are things that we haven't realistically accomplished yet. But simply because we have the belief that we can do these things, and we're actually taking steps toward achieving that thing that we envision, means that we will one day get to where we want to be if we keep moving in the right direction. So with that being said, we talked about what faith is and how faith is all being an action. Now we're going to actually talk about how do you grow that faith? And the first thing that comes to mind is that faith comes by hearing. And we hear this in Romans 10 and 17, where it reads that so faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So as I've mentioned before, I've mentioned this on earlier episodes of Grounded. I didn't, even though I grew up in church, I didn't always believe in God. There was a situation, there was a time where I had fell out and I started studying other forms of faith and, just other philosophies that are within the world. And then after I did all of that studying and soul searching, I eventually came back to God because now I can say I truly believe in the stuff that I grew up hearing all of this time. And it was only because I heard those things growing up that I was led back to where I am right now, and that's the thing. As people, we have to, when we hear things all the time, this is the world of information. It's up to us to decipher whatever it is that we're listening to and decide whether or not we want to believe those things or not. And that comes simply through trial and error. I would say it comes through experience. Just because I hear something doesn't automatically mean that I'm going to believe what I'm saying, but I actually have to try that thing out for myself, and that's what I've learned essentially from reading the Bible as well. A lot of the stuff that I talk to you all about are stuff that I've actually lived, stuff that I've actually done. That's why I can sit on here every week and just give y'all so much insight on these things, because this is stuff that I actually dealt with in the real world. And that pretty much brings you to the third point. Faith can only be gained through experience. Faith is based on what you go through. And that comes from James 1, 3, and 4. And it reads that knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience, but let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, wanting nothing. That's the key. Really, just living life and just going through stuff. And there's not no one that will ever live on this earth that's not going to go through something. You will be tested. It doesn't matter what it is. You may get tested on your job. You may get tested just waking up out the bed in the morning. Stuff is going to come. Things are going to come. And when they come, they're challenging you based on what you already believe. Can you handle this challenge? Can you go here? Can you go there? Can you do this? That's what faith is. It's not just a spiritual battle, but it's a personal battle, but despite all of these things that go through, despite the stuff that we go through, we have to keep going, no matter what. That's how you grow your faith. That's how you believe in yourself. When you got on that bike for the first time, I'm sure you didn't ride it perfectly. You probably fell a couple times till you learn. Same thing when it comes to roller skating. You might have got out there on the skating rink. You might have fell as soon as you got out there, but you got back up and you kept going. Same thing that happens with us in life all the time. You go for a job interview. Sometimes you get the job, sometimes you don't. But knowing where you are, knowing where you stand, all of that is the trial of faith. When things come bad, when stuff start coming down on you in life, where bills and stuff flying everywhere and everything just seems to go wrong, do you have the faith to keep going? Do you have the faith to get back up? Do you have the faith to stay in the race? When stuff like this come in 2021, all of our goals and dreams, everything may be going good right now, but when the struggle comes, are you going to have the faith to keep going? Are you going to be able to learn from the stuff that comes your way? Are you going to be able to push through? That's how you gain faith, everyone. And like I said, that's one of the hardest things that I've had to learn throughout life, is that this is a patient walk. Things aren't always going to go the way that you want them to. There will be setbacks, but those setbacks are necessary in order for you to get to where you ultimately want to be. And even going with that, a verse that I always like to talk about is Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. And it says that, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not for the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor the bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to everything. There's a time and place for everything in this world. There's a time for you to be good, and it's a time for you to go under. But knowing in those times where you're under, you're gonna come back up. And I'm not trying to make this sound like a sermon. I ain't trying to preach to y'all today, but I'm just letting y'all know that's what the world is. That's how you grow faith. So when struggles come, long story short, when things come to you, you got to be able to push through. And maybe that's why I'm talking about this today. because we talk about the good in life. We all want a perfect world, but this isn't a perfect world, man. Stuff is going to happen. And when stuff happens, you have to ask yourself, are you going to let this bother you? Or are you going to get back up and keep going? If this world was to go down today, are you going to bip up and see till tomorrow come? Are you going to pull yourself out of whatever situation you're in and make it happen? That's the end of the question. And that's how you grow your faith. But I guess to sum this message up once again, like I said, I went on a tangent, y'all. And to be honest with you, I don't know where all of that came from, but that got to be for somebody, man. It has to be. But anyway, talking about faith, faith, once again, is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It's you literally believing in something that you can't see. And we've all done this in life. We all came up as kids wanting to do all these things as adults. And we've all had goals and stuff that we wanted to accomplish. And a lot of us have accomplished those goals that we set out to do. But we saw the goal before we even got to it. We saw ourselves at that position and we made it there. That's what faith is. Faith is not only hearing it, but faith is also doing it. That was the second point of faith is an action. You can believe everything that you want in the world, but you have to put the action towards doing it. And that's ground is turned this year of accountable faith. Having the faith to do anything in this world, but also being accountable towards making that change happen for yourself. And last but not least, the only way to grow faith is through patience, by going through things in life, man, and learning how to trust the process, knowing that when things come good or bad, they're all going to work out for you. Romans 8:28, one of my favorite verses in the Bible, that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Understand that struggles have to come in life, but they only come to make you a better person. They only come to make you stronger. And from what I've always seen, and even the stuff that I've lived and been through, whenever I went into a struggle, whenever I went through a storm, it was always something waiting on me when I came out, man. And that's something that you got to live on. So if you're one of those people right now, if you're going through a low point, or maybe you haven't got to that point yet and you actually go through that, just know that moment won't last forever. Time and chance happens to everyone on this earth, and your time may not be right then, but your time is coming back. And when you come out, you're going to be more amazing than you already are. But anyway, everyone, that's it. As always, I pray that you all be well, be safe. And like I said, just keep going after everything that you're doing, man. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. I want you all to be successful this year, man. Go and get everything that God has for you and have the faith to go and do it. My name is Brian Boyd, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Peace. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're catching this on social media, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video with everyone that would love to hear it. And if you're one of my amazing listeners, please be sure to download the episode and follow us on all social media platforms at The Grounded Podcast. In the meantime, everyone, I pray that you all be blessed, be safe, be prosperous, and I will see you all soon in an upcoming video. This is Brian Boyd, signing off.